Hello and good evening, all. I got a story coming out of DC dealing with the Department of Education that should make you sick and pissed off, and this is why the Department of Education is evil. But before I get to that, I'd like to thank all my returning viewers and subscribers. And if you're new to my channel and you like what I do, please hit the like button and subscribe. Now on to the story. Education Department fails to explain protection against sex predators despite senators' demands, lawmakers say. Uh, Secretary of Education Miguel Cornada has failed to respond to a letter from Senators Pat Toomey and Joe Manchin demanding answers to questions regarding the hiring educators who's lost their jobs over sexual misconduct. Toomey and Manchin filed a letter February 9th asking a series of exploratory questions about the federal government policy regarding sexual misconduct by educators. Specifically, the senators questioned the implement of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, legislation they both introduced and helped pass back in 2015 that requires the Department of Education to stop funding states that do not implement policies banning the practice of passing the trash. The phrase refers to allowing educators accused of sexual misconduct to resign willingly without discipline or permanent record on their accusations. The letter demanded a response by March 5th, which is passed without action. Yeah, that really sucks. It sounds like the Catholic Church. Oh, you just leave and you can go somewhere else and do it again. Any educator who sexually abuses a child should feel the full force of the law and never be allowed to enter a classroom again, Toomey said in a statement to Fox News. I have repeatedly encouraged the Department of Education to urgently investigate this problem and use its authority to enforce existing laws. And why don't the schools um, forward any type of accusation straight to the cops? The Department of Education has continued to extend ESEA funding to states who have failed to properly safeguard students from sexual predators, which is a violation of this funding requirement. The senators wrote in their February letter, we urge the department to use its discretion to address this lack of enforcement. Uh, we must follow up with concrete action, and that starts with shielding students from predators in the classroom. Toomey and Manchin letter cited studies from both the Department of Education and the 2010 report from the U.S. Government Accountability Office that funded passing the trash were a persistent problem in U.S. school systems. The 15 cases the GAO examined showed that individuals with history of sexual misconduct were hired or retained by public and private schools as teachers, support staff, volunteers, and contractors. At least 11 of the 15 cases involved offenders who previously targeted children. Even more disturbing, in at least 6 cases, offenders used their new position as school employees or volunteers to abuse more children. GAO said in its official report of the issue. The GAO cited a lack of consistency across state and national levels as a contributing factor in the pattern. GAO found no federal laws regulating the employment of sex offenders in public or private schools, and widely divergent laws at the state level. For example, some states require national fingerprint-based criminal history check for school employment. As a worker at all all the nursing homes I worked at, we had to get fingerprinted to be checked out. That should be for schools too, all schools. While others do not, state laws also vary as to whether past convictions must result in termination from the school employment, rev- revocation of the teaching license, or refusal to hire. No, as soon as you get busted for certain crimes, you automatically lose your teacher's license and put on like a no fly list, but for schools where you're not allowed within. so many feet of the school. Questions for the Department of Education that remain unanswered include an explanation of certification process to evaluate state compliance with ESEA funding requirements, as well as lack of any enforcement of funding restrictions outlined in legislation. Additionally, the senators demand the findings of October 2019 study conducted by the department to find whether the relevant policy were being enacted on the state level. Every student needs to have access to safe learning environment that includes being protected from sexual abuse and predators. Allowing for abusers to continue to have access to the students is unacceptable, the Department of Education spokesman told Fox News. The department is fully committed to working with members of Congress and ensuring the states are compliance with the law. The department will respond to the authors of this letter directly. You had it for over a month. You should have been um responding to it earlier. Yeah, the Department of Education, the Secretary of Department of Education should be fired because it's clearly they're not doing their jobs. And yeah, any teacher that's caught, uh, even caught sexually abusing a kid should be in prison for life. So, what do you guys think about it? Should the Department of Education be raked over the coals even more for this failure, or not? And what should be the punishment for teachers who touch kids? Please let me know down below. And if you made it this far, could you all hit the like button and subscribe? It's always been good. Have fun. Stay safe. Bye bye.